Welcome to this week's Outfitter Tales from yet again a sunny, although slightly blustery Ayrshire. This week we have got a fox package.
Yes, me, and then we've got a quick talk about tick regime.
Tick regime, and coming up just to then a little bit of an update about what we've been doing and haven't been doing.
Yeah, and how you look at your wee polytunnel thing.
Have a look at that. So ticks first, eh?
Yes. So
you go for your regime then.
Right, so we get a lot of questions about ticks and stuff. Believe it or not, I was picking ticks off the dogs in January, which is unheard of at the moment. And I've noticed in the past sort of 2 weeks or so, with the dogs especially, I've been picking 20, 30 off them. So on the dogs I've got collars, not the cheap sort of ones you buy in the supermarkets. There's like tick collars you can get, and I also put front line on. There's also sort of things like Brevetco, but Brevetco only works after the tick's attached, so I'm not too keen on that. I'd rather stop the ticks attaching first.
Spot-on's another one.
And personally, I've used things like my Robin's trousers, which I'll be trialling up in Argyll over the next... From Holland's Outdoor. Sorry, Country Clothing, sorry.
Country Clothing.
Holland's Country Clothing, so... And they also do the Herkila stuff as well, but this is my own. You can also get sort of wash-in stuff that you can buy.
Yeah, I've never, I mean...
I have used it and it's good. You're going to get ticks, ultimately. If you're out there deer stalking, especially when it comes to sort of June, July time, when the ferns are all high and you're walking through them, you're going to get... I think
there's a couple of things to dispel it. I mean, you can moderate your regime to reduce the chance of getting a tick bite, which I'll explain in a minute. But the other thing is removing the tick correctly. There's all sorts of rubbish. I've said this many times, you know, like burning it with a cigarette. Well, if you like a bit of torture, fine. Absolutely nonsense. Putting whiskey on it is a flagrant abuse of whiskey. Rubbing Vaseline on it is a complete waste of time and nonsense. And effectively, all you're doing with all of these strange remedies is you're stressing the tick. What that will then do is regurgitate, so the blood that it's ingested from you is just going back in again. So that's the last thing you want.
Plus potentially any harmful
absolutely.
viruses
So
and
remove the tick. You can get the little tick pliers. Personally, I use a pair of tweezers. And all this nonsense about moving it, twisting it anti-clockwise and all the rest of it is complete rubbish. Get the tick out, try and do so without leaving bits of it in you, and then get some antiseptic cream on it. And if it Savlon's as good as anything, and if it reacts, so you start to get a sort of reaction, a bit of a telltale kind of, people say look for the bullseye rash, but at the end of the day, any sort of reaction, then you just want to check medical, go see your doctor. And what they will do is they will give you a course of antibiotics, strong antibiotics, for 28 days. And that's the kind of standard procedure. And it's only in extreme circumstances where it can be really, really nasty, but it can be nasty.
It's even nastier if you don't get it treated. So Lyme disease will stay in your system.
Yeah, you've always got it.
You've always got it.
You'll always have it.
Into your liver and stuff. But the longer it's untreated, the more damage it will do. One thing I will say, tweezers, I wouldn't use. I use the old
pliers.
Well, just to get under the head, because if you're using the wrong type of tweezers, you can actually squeeze it, and then you're actually pushing the stuff back into your body. I
prefer the tweezers with that proviso. The only thing is,
if you get them quick enough, you can just take them off with the back of your nail.
Oh yeah, you can take them off. Yeah, the little pepper ticks, difficult to sort of get hold of. So I've always used tweezers, but I think the thing is antiseptic cream. Get it straight on there and just monitor it.
You get little cards, the smidge cards.
There's
They're
all
quite
sorts,
good.
There's all sorts of things you can get.
That I use as well.
To try to prevent getting them in the first place. And as Rab says, you will get them. And I mean, there are certain places that are worse than others. New Forest bad, and you do most stalking down in Argyll, and that is particularly bad for ticks. We're not so bad here because we're near the coast, but we do get them.
This is the worst year I've seen it so far.
It's been mild though, hasn't it? We've not had the frost, that's the problem. But your regime can have a big impact. Like if you are out in vegetation and then you come back from your morning stalk, my regime is I go into the boot room, I take my stalking gear off, I change, and then I'm not sat around in the gear that I've been wearing while I'm out stalking, because on that gear, on that clothing, will invert your boots, your trousers, everything, there will be ticks. So the longer you sit around in them all day, is the more chance you've got of the ticks getting onto your skin. So that's quite an easy thing to do. Get in the shower and get changed and then have your breakfast. And that will massively, massively reduce the chances of getting ticks on you. But you will still get them.
It's also very good to have a very understanding and cooperative partner stroke wife who will do the tick check on areas where you can't necessarily see.
It can be quite fun, actually. It can be quite fun. Not all wives would, perhaps.
I've just got a picture in my head.
Yeah, I have. I could distinctly remember two individuals who I shall not mention. I will actually, Brian and Elmer, who were stalking, and one of them, I can't remember which one, got a tick right in the cheeks of his arse, and he had to be bent over for his colleague to remove it. Well, I'm telling you now, that ain't happening. So you're doing it yourself, and you can go and see Michelle.
The wife does it. Yeah. But I've had them in the most awkward of places.
Yeah. But so that's it really. A little bit of common sense.
Yeah. Prevention is better than the cure.
Yeah.
And I'll say, reiterate, guys, if at any time you've got that bullseye rash doesn't necessarily mean it's Lyme. So you might just be having an allergic reaction. But
get it checked.
Go to the doctor, get on antibiotics.
So that's what we do.
Yes.
But it's a fact of life. Doing what we do, we're going to get ticks, but not a lot of ticks, simply by following a bit of sensible precautions. Yeah. Right, so coming up.
So we've got a wee update on the Polytunnel.
Yeah, what we've been kind of doing and the kind of Polytunnel update. But one thing I want to mention at this point is our sponsors.
Yes.
Now, our partners, sponsors, call them what you will, who I think we would not be able to bring this to you every week without their support. So personally from me, a thank you to Highland Outdoors.
Also thank you to Hawk who gave us the Knox Pig stuff, also as well as the Hawk scopes and stuff.
Knock Picks themselves. Yep. Brandy Cuss Boots, Josh and the team who I've been working with for years and got them on now.
Yeah, British Shooting Show, which will be happening in when's that happening?
February 25 now, next one. Holland's Country Clothing, who we need to thank for your trousers, so we can do a test on the tick trousers.
I've got a few bits of kit from them that I'm going to be testing out over the next few months. The best place to do that's probably Argyll, where it's a little bit more rugged and the terrain's a little bit harder on the equipment, so that'll be a good test for the kit.
Certainly for ticks.
And also, we can't forget the discount code for the Hercules stuff.
No, is that still on? I think it is on. It's about I think it's on into mid-May. But if that's still on, and I think it is, we'll put you do that.
Down there.
We'll put that on there. So that's the discount, and it is good gear actually. And so we're just going to have a little walk around actually and look at the Polytunnel.
Yep.
Now it's got some skin on. Okay. Okay, so you can see behind me the 60-foot Polytunnel. I'm quite pleased with how the skin's gone on this, because what you want is tension. So it's the best time to skin it is when you've got warm weather. Put the skin on really tight, and it sort of expands a little bit, and then as it cools down, it kind of tightens it up. So you should be able to tap it and get a real kind of nice bounce from it. So I'm pleased with the way that skin went on. And the white around the hoops is anti-hotspot tape. So basically that skin should last 5 or 6 years now, and the hot stop tape stops the metal sort of heating up, and that sort of obviously speeds up the degradation of the polythene. Here is the famous Polytunnel. A little bit behind in here now, because I would have liked to have had this done earlier, but we're now catching up. So effectively what I've done here, there's some early tomatoes in here which I've got in good time. That's just a double protection for frost, because they don't like frost and it keeps the frost off the leaves. So this normally would have been a bit further on, but you can see the early potatoes, so these are coming up really nicely. I actually got these in while the skin was off, to be honest with you, just to get them going, but they've come on nicely. We'll be lifting new potatoes from those probably in about 3 weeks. So probably when we film with Jan, a venison package or whatever we're going to do next, it may well be serving those with the early potatoes. So what we got in here, there's some couple of hot chilies there, just gone in. These are ready for the rest of the tomatoes, so we grow a load of tomatoes because they last us all year. Those are the first few that are in, and then the rest are in pots growing along. They'll be in the greenhouse, they'll be coming in here before long. And then really the only other things we've got in here at the moment are, because again I've not been able to plant it, there's some radishes there coming through, there's some dwarf French beans which have just gone in. Again, they don't like frost, so they need to be protected from frost, but they'll be cropping right through the summer months with the lovely French beans. The grapevine there is just starting to spring into life, and at the moment that's probably all we've got in. And this is work in progress because this is where the potting bench and everything's going to be rebuilt in this corner. So it's a bit of a mess in here at the moment, but actually crops are growing around the work. I'm quite pleased with how we've got that on because it's nice and taut. It's luminous. It filters out UV light, this type of visqueen. 720 grades if you want the technical polythene, but that'll last on here now for, it should last for 6 or 7 years before I need to reskin it. Hopefully. You were going to help me with the polytunnel, skinning it, but you weren't here.
I know in last week's show we mentioned that's because we filmed it beforehand. I was going to help him, but I didn't get the phone call. He managed to do it himself with all his friends.
I haven't got any friends.
Exactly.
I asked Dean to come. I think I'm well pleased with that, and bit behind, but we'll catch up. So some of the produce that's in there we'll be filming before very long, actually. Yeah. Fox in clip.
Hopefully you'll enjoy this, guys. This was a night I went out. Probably a few weeks ago now. But, we just got the knot pick stuff and the new rifle, so I went out to give them a good test. Enjoy. Right guys, so we're just out trying to do a little bit of foxing. The farmer's got a bit of a fox that's coming into the field every night, that he sees every night just before last light. Obviously we're out here when it's dark, so we're going to try and get hold of it and get it done. What I've got with me tonight is the Knockpicks Ace H50R, and also the Knockpicks Vista H50R. And here we have our foxing partner Hamish, who's one of the biggest dogs I've ever seen. And he's sniffing my balls. And a badger. One down. So as you saw there, we had a badger and 2 foxes all coming in at the same time. I didn't want to squeak them because these have been squeaked before and been missed. Not by myself, I might add, but they're very squeak and light sensitive. So I just let them walk towards me until I had a chance to get a shot on one of them. Obviously the other one bolted, nothing else I can do about that. So let's go see what we've got. A quick look up, and then there's another one out there for now. There's a badger still. Right. Right, there we go, guys. A barren vixen and 2 dogs. So at this time of year I was expecting them to be pregnant anyway, heavily pregnant. So we've done this before. We can get any cubs in the ground. Although they do happen earlier. And unfortunately, that's unfortunate, but if we do shoot one that's pregnant and suckling, what we'll do then is try and find a den. But there you go, 3 down in one night. I wasn't expecting to see that many foxes here, to be honest. I thought I was on top of them. But there we go, every day's a school day. Right guys, well, quite a successful evening in the end. 2 dogs, 1 vixen. I presume she was last year's young because she's barren, she's not suckling, she's not getting any cubs. But if you noticed, I didn't use any calling or much calling then. There's 2 reasons for that. One, there was no need, the foxes were already there and I could make my way towards them without them knowing I was in the vicinity. But secondly, I've found around this area there's other people shoot the foxes around here as well, on neighbouring estates. And the foxes tend to be sort of call shy, some of them. Whether they've been called in and then missed, I don't know. But so it's I always err on the side of what's the word I'm looking for? Caution. Yeah, there we go. I always err on the side of caution around here with the calling. So I'll try calling. If there's nothing happening, I'll move on. But no, successful evening. 3 in the bag. Happy farmer. No more lambs getting taken. It's quite hard to film yourself, so I sort of use the services of my wife, who doesn't know anything about cameras or anything. So
yeah, but it's quite good. I thought that.
Yeah.
Nice to see. Nice to actually see that.
Yeah. Some good shooting there. But
there's some the clarity of image is
yeah.
Brilliant on the.
And obviously we've left the misses in because it does happen. But if you look on the footage, you actually see the crosshairs where it should be. And there's many different factors about that. It's obviously factory ammunition, new rifle, it's not been run in properly yet. So
yeah, you like your home loads, don't you?
I like home loads, so I'm bullet on bullet, and then I know the bullet's going where it should.
And it's also a matter of getting familiar with, as you say, it's new rig in it, new kit.
Yeah. But no.
There's 2 type of people in this world: stalkers, fox shooters, and anybody else that use rifles for any length of time. There are people who miss, and there's liars. We all miss.
Yeah, but
some more than others.
I did miss, and then
you do it often.
It didn't get away though.
No, that was pretty pretty impressive. Pretty impressive, that, yeah.
I've done better.
Yeah, you have, yeah, but we've not got that on camera, have we?
No.
So that's, like
hey guys, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I just also like to iterate as well. Obviously, when this comes out on the Outfitters Tales, the foxes and stuff will probably be. Cubs will be born, so I don't like doing it sort of later on in the year. I try and get everything done before the litters are born. Then that way you're not leaving them starving and stuff in the holes. But yeah, so all good.
So that's about it then for this week.
That's it this week.
So from sunny southwest Scotland, it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him.
And as always, please keep liking and subscribing, and pass this around your friends, because folks subscribing is what we need.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, nearly forgot. Don't forget, watch this space.
See, can't even get his catchphrases right.
Shocking.